This is a story called The 8-Cow Wife, and I love it. Get Johnny Lingo to help you find what you want, and then let him do the bargaining, advised Shinken as I sat on the veranda of his guest house and wondered whether to visit Narrabandi. He'll earn his commission 4 times over. Johnny knows values and how to make a deal. Johnny Lingo, the chubby boy on the veranda steps, hooted the name, then hugged his knees and rocked with shrill laughter. "Be quiet," said his father, and the laughter grew silent. Johnny Lingo's the sharpest trader this side of the Pacific. The simple statement made the boy choke and almost roll off the steps. Smiles broadened on the faces of the villagers standing nearby. "What goes on?" I demanded. "Everybody around here tells me to get in touch with Johnny Lingo and then breaks up. It is some kind of trick, a wild goose chase, like sending someone for a left-handed wrench. There is no such person, or is he the village idiot, or what? Let me in on the joke, please." "Not an idiot," said Shinken. "Only one thing. 5 months ago, at festival time, Johnny came to Kinawata and found himself a wife. He paid her father 8 cows. He spoke the last words with great solemnity, and I knew enough about island customs to be thoroughly impressed. 2 or 3 cows would buy a fair to middling wife. 4 or 5, a highly satisfactory one." "8 cows," I said. "She must have been a beauty that takes your breath away." "That's why they laugh," my guest said. "It would be kindness to call her plain. She was little and skinny with no endowments. She walked with her shoulders hunched and her head ducked, as if she was trying to hide behind herself. Her cheeks had no color, her eyes never opened beyond a slit, and her hair was a tangled mop half over her face. She was scared of her own shadow, frightened by her own voice. She was afraid to laugh in public. She never romped with the other girls, so how could she attract the boys? But she attracted Johnny." This is the story Shinken told me. All the way to the council tent, the cousins were urging Sam to try for a good settlement. "Ask for 3 cows, they told him, "and hold out for 2 until you're sure he'll pay 1. But Sam was in such a stew and so afraid there'd be some slip-up in this marriage chance for Sarita that they knew he wouldn't hold out for anything. So while they waited and thought, instead of their luck in getting such a good husband for Sarita, then Johnny came into the tent and said, without waiting for a word from any of them, went straight up to Sam Carew, grasped his hand and said, 'Father of Sarita, I offer 8 cows for your daughter.' And he delivered the cows. As soon as it was over, Johnny took Sarita to the island of Cho for their first week of marriage. Then they went home to Narrabandi, and we haven't seen them since, except at festival time. There's not much travel between the islands. When I met the slim, serious man, he welcomed me to his home with a grace that made me feel like the owner. I was glad that from his own people he had respect unmingled with mockery. I told him that his people had told me about him. "They speak much of me on that island? What do they say?" "They say you are a sharp trader," I said. "And they also say the marriage settlement that you made for your wife was 8 cows. I paused, then went on, coming as close to a direct question as I could. "They wonder why." "They say that?" His eyes lighted with pleasure. It seemed not to have noticed the question. "Everyone in Kinawata knows about the 8 cows? I nodded. "And in Narrabandi, everybody knows it too." His chest expanded with satisfaction. "Always and forever, when they speak of marriage settlements, it will be remembered that Johnny Lingo paid 8 cows for Sarita." It's not enough for his ego to be known as the smartest, the strongest, the quickest. He had to make himself famous for his way of buying a wife. I was tempted to deflate him by reporting that in Kinawata he was laughed at for a fool. As we spoke, a woman entered the adjoining room and placed a bowl of blossoms on the dining table. She stood still a moment to smile with sweet gravity at the young man beside me. Then she went swiftly out again. She was the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. This girl had an ethereal loveliness, The dew-fresh flowers with which she had pinned back her lustrous black hair accented the glow of her cheeks. The lift of her shoulders, the tilt of her chin, the sparkle of her eyes all spelled a pride to which one could deny her the right. And as she turned to leave, she moved with grace that made her look like a queen. When she was out of sight, I turned back to Johnny Lingo and found him looking at me with eyes that reflected the pride of the girls. "You admire her?" he murmured. She's glorious. Who is she?" I couldn't help but think, if she were a servant, how difficult it must be for homely Sarita, having to daily be in the presence of such a beautiful woman. And what a temptation for Mr. Lingo. "She is my wife." I stared at him blankly. Was this some custom I had not heard about? Do they practice polygamy here? He, for his 8 cows, bought both Sarita and this other? But before I could form a question, he spoke again. "This is the only one, Sarita." His way of saying the words gave them a special significance. "Perhaps you wish to say she does not look the way they say she looked in Kinawata?" "She doesn't." The impact of the girl's appearance made me forget tact. "I heard she was homely. They all made fun of you because you let yourself be cheated by Sam Carew." "You think he cheated me? You think 8 cows were too many?" A slow smile slid over his lips as I shook my head. "She can see her father and her friends again, and they can see her. Do you think anyone will make fun of us then?" "Much has happened to change her. Much in particular happened the day she went away." "You mean she married you?" "That, yes, but most of all, I mean the arrangements for the marriage." "Arrangements?" "Do you ever think," he asked reflectively, "what it does to a woman when she knows that the price her husband has paid is the lowest price for which she can be bought? And then later, when all the women talk, as women do, they boast of what their husbands paid for them. One says 4 cows, another maybe 6. How does she feel, the woman who was sold for 1 or 2? This could not happen to my Sarita." "Then you paid that unprecedented number of cows just to make your wife happy?" "Happy?" He seemed to turn the word over on his tongue as if to test its meaning. "I wanted Sarita to be happy, yes, but I wanted more than that. You say she's different from the way they remember her in Kinawata. This is true. Many things can change a woman. Things that happen inside, things that happen outside. But the thing that matters most is what she thinks about herself. In Kinawata, Sarita believed she was worth nothing. Now she knows that she is worth more than any other woman on the islands." "Then you wanted..." "I wanted to marry Sarita. I loved her and no other woman. But..." I was close to understanding. "But," he finished softly, "I wanted an 8-cow wife." I think this represents being born again. I really do. It changes us and makes us not only beautiful, but when we know we're beloved and worthwhile, that's when we become beautiful inside and out and see others as beautiful.